Nanda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we welcome everyone for the Chaitanya Charitamrita session. We are again now in the lockdown. So hope all the devotees are staying safe and keeping well. We could see that this pandemic has changed many things in our life. Especially we see the way people work. Now there is a working from home. Many things are happening from home. So just like we work from home, we can hear from home too. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has confirmed very nicely that Sthane Sita Shutigatan Tanuvan Manobi. Sthane Sitaha. Wherever, Sthane means place. So wherever we are situated, we can remain there. And Shuti Gatam, by hearing the pastimes of the Lord, we can actually conquer the unconquerable Lord. The Lord is called Ajita. Ajita means unconquerable. But the same Lord can be easily conquered just by hearing his transcendental pastimes. So that is the greatness of hearing the pastimes of the Lord. So we see how important it is to hear the pastimes of the Lord. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he tells that what is the benediction a person gets if he listens to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Whenever we do anything, we also like to know what benefit we get. So he tells us the great benediction a person gets when he listens to the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And what is that benediction? The first thing a person gets by hearing the Lord's transcendental pastimes, the first thing is purification of the heart. Our heart gets cleansed of all the dirty things and the contamination, and it becomes very clean and pure. And the second thing what we get is the knowledge, the transcendental knowledge of devotional service, how to perform seva for the Lord. And the third thing which everyone is looking for in this world, Ananda, the bliss, transcendental bliss. Ananda Simanai, Niranande Durejai. Everyone wants happiness. No one wants Nirananda. So all the sorrows, all the inauspicious things goes far away when we hear the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So these are three benedictions Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is confirming that a person will get by hearing the transcendental sweet pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So we see that the Chaitanya Charitamrita is such a wonderful nectar. Srila Prabhupada mentions that Bhagavad Gita is a foundational study, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the graduate study, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is postgraduate study. And then he tells that, Bhagavad Gita is talking about the Vani of the Lord, the instructions of the Lord. And what is Bhagavatam is talking about? All the lilas, the activities of the Lord. And what is Chaitanya Charitamrita talking about? It is talking about the mind of the Lord, something very confidential, very the internal mood of the Lord. So we can understand Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very deep scripture. Understanding the mind of the Lord is not an ordinary thing. So it is a very, very deep scripture. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he was getting any little time, if he wants to read a book, he would only choose Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was his favorite book. And he also mentioned that if at all, for some reason, if all the books in the world are, destroyed, leaving only Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, still the world will be benefited because the world, the ultimate goal of life is mentioned in these books. And whatever is not mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam can be found in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this shows the supreme position of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Srila Prabhupada also, when he was going in Jalatuta, in the cargo ship to the west, so he was experiencing a lot of seasickness, dizziness, and Srila Prabhupada mentions in his Jaladuta diary. And he mentions that he's also missing his dear lordships in Vrindavan. And then he mentions that the only solace is Chaitanya Charitamrita, where I am tasting the nectarian of Lord Chaitanya's. So we could see that this Chaitanya Charitamrita is so dear, to all the acharyas. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, for nearly 10 to 12 years, he was searching for this book, and then only he got, the manuscripts of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, and he was always carrying, this Chaitanya Charitamrita along with him. So, it is such a very special book. Though today's topic is about synopsis of Madhya Lila, I thought I will give a short introduction and a recap of our earlier sessions. So then this, the title or the topic which we are discussing will make some sense. So such is the wonderful glory of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we see the author Kaviraj Goswami. His name was actually Krishnadas. Then later Kaviraj was added. So this Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, when he started writing the book, he was in his 90s. If we go today to Radha Kund in Vrindavan, there is some Samadhi Mandir of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. If we go there, there is a picture of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And you should see the picture. We will understand, oh my God, how he wrote all this. He was like so old and bent down completely and sitting and writing Chaitanya Charitamrita. Those days, there is no laptops, there is no notebooks, no pens. They were writing in the palm leaves. And he has to bend down and write like that. And then he will dry those leaves in the sun. And he has mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I am very old. I am not able to hear properly. I am not able to speak properly. When I am writing, my hand is trembling. The 90 years old personality is writing this book. And what kind of a book? If you see the Chaitanya Charitamrita volume, there are 9 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita, not 2 page, 3 page, 100 pages. 9 volumes, which is 62 chapters totally, around 11,000 verses. Just imagine this personality has written all this in this very ripened age. How many years or how much of time it would have taken for him to do this great task, right? And then, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he has not just given a pastime, okay, this story, after that, this story. He not only gave the pastime, he gave the philosophy also. A combination of philosophy plus pastime. Sometimes we may just hear the story, but we may not know the essence of that pastime, which is a philosophy, what I need to, the takeaway or the application. Sometimes the philosophy is given, but not the pastime. So that makes sometimes dry. But here he gives such a combo of philosophy and pastimes, which makes, more sweeter and sweeter, And also, you see, generally the biographies are written like, like a paragraph, like a text. But here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is presenting a biography, because Chaitanya Charita Amrita. Charita is what? Biography. And which is a nectar. And how he has presented? He has presented in a poetical form. So throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita, if we read, it is so sweet and nice to recite, like a poem. So amazing, because it is so poetical and so sweet. The devotees gave him the special, name, Kavi Raj. Kavi Raj, the king of Kavis, the king of all the poets, the crown jewel of all the poets. That is why Krishnadas, his name was Krishnadas, and he got this very special name, and everyone started calling him Krishnadas Kaviraj. So it's so amazing. And then if you see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, not just writing whatever he has felt like. He gives very clear this thing. What he says, this book is first of all not written by me. This book is written by Radha Madana Mohana, and I am like a parrot. A parrot will speak whatever it has heard from others. Similarly, I am just a parrot repeating the words of Radha Madana Mohan. So humbly he has presented himself. And you should see the humility of Kaviraj Goswami throughout the Chaitanya Charitamrita is mood, which makes it even more nectarian. He mentions Jagai and Madhya are considered great sinners, but I am even greater sinner than Jagai and Madhya. I am lower than a worm in the stool. So Kaviraj Goswami, he was completely feeling himself unworthy, unqualified, to glorify Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the associates. So it is amazing, the humility of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And we can see he has also given a lot of scriptural evidence in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says that the Adi Lila, actually, he has taken the support from Murari Gupta's notes. Murari Gupta is a great associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Adi Lila, he has taken some of the notes from Murari Gupta, the writings from Murari Gupta. It is called Murari Gupta Korcha. And the Madhya Lila and Antya Lila, he has taken the writings of Swarup Damodar Goswami, who was actually with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu towards his concluding pastimes. Throughout, in the Gundicha, the solitary, in that room, Mahaprabhu was feeling all ecstatic symptoms. So that time only Swarup Damodar Goswami, Ramananda Roy were there towards the concluding pastimes. So those Madhya Lila and Adi Lila, he has taken the diaries of Swarup Damodar Goswami. And then he also mentions that he has taken, he has heard from Raghunatha Dasa Goswami. Raghunatha Dasa Goswami is one of the 6 Goswami. And after this Panihati festival is finished, then after that he comes to Jagannath Puri, and he stays with Mahaprabhu with Mahaprabhu's association for a long time. Then later he goes to Vrindavan. And when he was in Vrindavan, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami meets him and then hears from him all those pastimes. So basically what he heard from Raghunath Dasa Goswami and the notes of Murari Gupta and Swarup Damodar Goswami. And then he says that it is dictated by Radha Madana Mohana. So I don't have any credit. So such is the beauty of this book, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So then we see that after this Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhaktivinoda Thakur got this book, he read it, and then he also made a commentary for this Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the commentary is called Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. So that is a commentary written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then later Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also wrote a commentary for Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is called Anubhashya. And our Srila Prabhupada combined these 2 commentaries, Amrita Pravaha Bhashya of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Anubhashya of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, combined both of those commentaries and put it in English, in such wonderful, beautiful purports that we all could understand. So just imagine what Srila Prabhupada has given us. And not only in English, it has now been translated in so many languages, and all throughout the world, people are able to, dive deep into this nectarian ocean of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we are so grateful to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami And we are so grateful to all our acharyas and Srila Prabhupada especially to give it in the English language for all of us to access. So it is mentioned that this book Chaitanya Charitamrita, just like it is like a Amrita Dara. It's a flow of nectar, and if one drinks it, all the senses will become nourished. Generally, our senses become satisfied only when it meets a sense object. For example, the eyes becomes happy when the eye sees a beautiful object. And the ears become satisfied when the ears hear something very melodious and nice. The tongue likes to taste something which is wonderful, then it becomes satisfied. So each senses becomes satisfied by getting different things. But it is mentioned, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami is saying, this Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you just read, all the senses will become very satisfied. So much nectar is locked. That is appreciation Kaviraj Goswami himself gives, because he always felt that this is not written by him, it is written by Radha Madan Mohan. So sweet. That is why it is Chaitanya Charita Amrita. So we see that such a sweet book. So how it is divided, this book? So Chaitanya Charitamrita is there. It is divided. We know that Mahaprabhu stayed in this material world, performed his pastimes only for 48 years. So this 48 years we divide into two halves, 24 and 24. The first 24 years is called Adi Lila. Whatever pastimes happen in the first 24 years. The rest of the Leela, it is called Sesha Leela. Sesha Leela means rest of the Leelas, other than 24 years, first 24. So that means the next 24. That is called Sesha Leela. So Adi Leela, Sesha Leela. So the first 24 Adi Leela and the second Sesha Leela, first 6 years, called Madhya Leela. And the second 18 years, the last 18 years, called Antya Leela. So Sesha Leela's first 6 years, Madhya Leela, last 18 years are Antya Leela. So we have Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, Antya Leela. So Adi Leela is 24 years, first 24 years. Then the middle 6 years, Madhya Leela is, Madhya is middle. Antya, the last 18 years. Right? So the Madhya, Antya Leela, Adi Leela has got 17 chapters. Madhya Leela, 25 chapters. And Antya Leela, 20 chapters, which makes altogether 62 chapters. So this constitutes the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in our earlier sessions, we have already seen what is Adi Leela. We already finished Adi Leela, but I will just give a little recap for our, for us to understand better. So the first Adi Leela, 17 chapters I told, right? 17 chapters. Very interesting. If you see, the 17 chapters are divided into two. 12 chapters plus 5 chapters. 12 plus 5. So the first 12 chapters, it is all about, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya Tattva basically, Nityananda Tattva, Advaita Tattva, Pancha Tattva. Then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is talking about all the associates of Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya tree. Chaitanya tree is a tree of Krishna Prema, the tree of love, Krishna Prema, tree of devotion. And it is mentioned that the tree, the Lord himself is a gardener. He is the main trunk. He is also the branch. And there are two sub branches coming from Chaitanya tree. One is Nityananda Prabhu and one is Advaitacharya. And from there, many branches going that are all the associates of the Lord. In that way, all of them are flooding the whole world. They flooded the whole world with Krishna consciousness, Krishna Prema. Mm. So that is mentioned in the first 12 chapters of Adi Leela. Mm. About Chaitanya Tattva, Nityananda Tattva, Advaita Tattva, Pancha Tattva, and the tree of Lord Chaitanya, the Chaitanya tree. Then, very interestingly, the last 5 chapters is only talking about, which covers the first 24 years of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amazing, no? 24 years, he put it in only five chapters. We may wonder how come 24 years of the Lord's life are just put in 5 chapters. For that, Kaviraj Goswami is giving a beautiful explanation. He tells that, I have only written that which is not written by Vrindavan Das Thakur in the another book called Chaitanya Bhagavat. We have another book which is talking about Lord Chaitanya's pastime other than Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is called Chaitanya Bhagavat, and it is written by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is a great devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and he is considered non-different from Vyasadeva. And he has given a lot of importance in his book in the childhood pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First 24 years, he has focused more on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's childhood, his wedding, which is all that he's mainly focused. But after sannyas, he has not written much. So those Madhya and Antya Lila pastimes, we can see Kaviraj Goswami has elaborated more. That is the reason only 5 chapters are dedicated for the Adi Leela, that is the childhood pastimes. And what is that 5 chapters talking about? The appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Janma, appearance of the Lord. His Balya Leela, that is the first 5 years. How the Lord was very naughty, Nimai, going around doing many naughty things. That is in the first 5 years, Balya Leela. Then the second 5 years, from age 6 to 10, Pauganda Leela, where the Lord's education, and then he marries Lakshmi Priya, so all those pastimes comes under Pauganda Leela. Then the teenage pastime from 11 to 15. So where the Lord actually, he goes to East Bengal, he meets Tapan Mishra, he defeats Keshava Kashmiri, who was so proud, and then he makes him a devotee, and then he's like, he marries Vishnu Priya Devi, Vishnu Priya. So all that happens in the Kaishora Leela. Then the youth, Yavana Leela, which is 16 to 24. So in that, the Lord actually, travels, Chankasi, meeting of Chankasi, Gopal Chapal, forgiving Gopal Chapal. So all these pastimes happens there. And then at the end of 24, the Lord accepts sannyas from Keshava Bharati. So that ends Adi Leela. So that ends Adi Leela. So from 24 onwards, from sannyas, how the Lord is traveling, to the 6 years, he is fully traveling to the various length and breadth of India. So that is all we will see. And then later, how he goes to Jagannath Puri, and then all the pastimes in Jagannath Puri later, last 18 years. So today's topic is synopsis. So we are not going to elaborate the pastimes. It is like a trailer, a taster. So we get to know what are the different things happened. And then later, we will elaborate all these pastimes in the respective chapters. And very interestingly, if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you see any book, there will be some order and sequence, right? Of course, Chaitanya Charitamrita follows a sequence, but we may see some things are repeated. You know why? Because Kaviraj Goswami was all the time worried that he may leave the body anytime. So he was thinking, I have to give the best. So what he has done is, in the Madhya lila itself, he has given synopsis of Madhya lila, synopsis of Antya lila also. And then in between, he will tell some future pastimes, because he was thinking anytime he will leave the body. But by the mercy of Radha Madana Mohana, he could complete the book. In fact, Srila Prabhupada also completed the translation of Chaitanya Charitamrita in the year 1974 itself. Whereas Bhagavatam translation, Prabhupada was doing till the end of his life. 1977, when Srila Prabhupada was, in Vrindavan, as we know, towards the end past time, Srila Prabhupada was still talking, in the dictaphone, giving some, translations for the Krishna towards the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Later, 11th and 12th was done by his disciples. But Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada finished quite early, 1974, Kartik, month of Kartik, on a Rama Ekadasi, he completed. Because Srila Prabhupada thought the mercy of Lord Chaitanya is so important for this people in this material world. His mercy is very much required. So Prabhupada gave so much importance in completing Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Kaviraj Goswami was also all the time thinking, that if in case I leave the body, what will happen? Let me give Antya Lila in a Madhya Lila itself. So that's why sometimes when you see, you may think, oh, I heard this pastime before, little bit. Yeah, it's like that. But it follows a sequence. But still, sometimes it may look like it is repeating, because he would have given a briefing at one point, and then later he will elaborate. So that's the reason it looks like it's kind of repeating, because he had this anxiety that he don't want to miss giving this nectar. So such is the mood of the great Vaishnavas. They were always thinking of the welfare of the future generations, for all the living entities. Paradukha Dukhi. So we could see Kaviraj Goswami and our Srila Prabhupada, the mood, magnanimous mood. So now we have got an idea of what is Adi Lila, right? First 12 chapters, I said, in the first 12 chapters talking about all the tattvas, the Chaitanya tree, and the last 5 chapters talking about all the Leelas, Janma, the appearance, Balya Leela, Pauganda, Kaishora, Yavana, until Sannyas. So now we are entering into Madhya Leela. So what is Madhya Leela talking about? Madhya Leela is so fascinating, so fascinating. How the Lord traveled from top to bottom, from Vrindavan to South India, and gave his mercy to everyone, not seeing any qualification, not discriminating anyone, not even animals. So sweet. I will give you now a slight framework from sannyas till that 6 years, just a framework, not going deep into the pastime, because we will be repeating this pastimes later. So what happens? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas in Katwa. We know that. So after taking sannyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so much hankering and longing to go to Vrindavan. But Nityananda Prabhu tricked him, and then he took him to Shantipur. And Shantipur, he told, Ganges is Yamuna. And then Mahaprabhu believed. Then after going there, he realized Advaita Acharya. Oh, then he understood he is in Shantipur. So then in Shantipur, there was a big celebration, because Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas and has come. And the news spread everywhere. And everyone wanted to see the Lord, because they were already broken-hearted that Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas. So they want to come and, have the association of the Lord. So everywhere in Bengal and around, people are coming, to visit Mahaprabhu, to see Mahaprabhu. And Advaita Acharya's house was filled with the devotees. And Sachi Mata is seeing Mahaprabhu after sannyas, and her heart was broken. And see the emotions and the separation. If you read the whole thing, it is very heart touching. And Sachi Mata is requesting, at least till Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here, I would like to cook and feed all the Vaishnavas. Till the time she was not eating, she was not doing anything. So in great separation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now Mahaprabhu has come, everyone got back their life, and they all were, like bees, surrounding Mahaprabhu, taking his association. And big feast was cooked, and the devotees were, serving prasadam. And like that, Mahaprabhu, spent his time in the loving association of his devotees. Then after that, Mahaprabhu decided, because I am a sannyasi, I cannot be just staying like this. I need to move on. And then Sachimata requested, my dear Nimai, my dear son, please, you make Jagannath Puri as a headquarters. Please don't go to Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is very far. But if you go to Jagannath Puri, at least some devotees will come, because Puri and Bengal not very far. So we can get to know about you. So please kindly accept this request. So then Mahaprabhu circumambulated his mother, and decided to keep his headquarters as Jagannath Puri. So then he bid farewell, and started to Puri, and everyone were crying, and so much of separation, the mood of feelings of separation, everyone were crying. So it's a very very what I should say, very touching. And then after that, Mahaprabhu, anyway, he decided, and then he's starting, and Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu joined, and only two more devotees accompanied Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they now going towards Jagannath Puri. On the way, they stopped at Remuna. Remuna is a place where Kichor Gopinath, where the Lord, the Gopinath stole key for his devotee Madhavendra Puri. We will hear these pastimes later in detail. So then, so Kichor Gopinath place they came, and then they saw the Gopinath. And then after that, on the way, they went to Sakshi Gopal, another beautiful temple where the Lord Gopal, he became a witness, of two Brahmanas who were having some kind of conversation, and they kept the Lord as a witness. And when they were in a difficulty, one of the Brahmana called, my dear Lord, actually in front of you I made the promise, you were the witness, please I request you to come. And the Lord literally walked all the way from Vrindavan to Vidyanagar, which is in South India. Uh, he became the witness, Sakshi. He gave the Sakshi Gopal, very famous pastime. Um, then after Sakshi Gopal temple, Nityananda Prabhu got very upset. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to take sannyas? He was not very happy, because he is the supreme Lord. Why he should take the austerity of sannyas? Because that means he has to eat only very less, cannot put on nice clothes. I mean, many things, so much of austerity basically, sannyas ashrama. So Nityananda Prabhu was so upset, and he broke his sannyas danda of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and threw it in the river. And Mahaprabhu externally got very angry. And then he said that, okay, I leave all of you here. I want to go alone to Jagannath Puri. So then Mahaprabhu started alone towards Jagannath Puri, and later the associates joined. So when he went to Jagannath Puri, then Mahaprabhu saw Lord Jagannath. He became so ecstatic, and he fell down on the ground unconscious. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in the mood of Radharani. And Jagannath is Krishna. So Radharani, when seeing Krishna, that ecstatic mood of separation, that, Mahaprabhu could not, bear that separation. And after seeing a long time Jagannath, he fell unconscious. And that time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he's an advisor for the king, Prataparudra. Um, and also, he's a Mayavadi, he's an impersonalist. So he came and he picked the Lord up, and then he took him to his house, And then after, he was so attracted to the beauty of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So handsome, so long, his eyes like a lotus. What a effulgent sannyasi. Uh, So after Mahaprabhu came to consciousness, the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, "You are a sannyasi. You are supposed to be reading Vedanta. So I will teach you." And then he started, teaching, for 7 days. And then Mahaprabhu very patiently listened. At the end, transformed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Beautiful pastime. We are now just touching upon briefly. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya got completely transformed, who was an impersonalist. He became mad and ecstatic of love of Krishna. Uh, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya got completely transformed. Then after that, all the other associates joined Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. And many families of the devotees, they joined there. And then the Lord revealed his desire, because I am a sannyasi, I want to travel and preach. So I am now going to go to South India. And no one was happy, because they felt that they will be missing the Lord. But the Mahaprabhu was very determined, I have to go. And then finally they gave one assistant. At least you please take one assistant with you. Kala Krishna Das was sent along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India tour. So he went to Kurma Desh, and he met a Kurma Brahmana. How this Brahmana was a family man with a wife and children. But when he saw Mahaprabhu, after that, he started speaking in a way that, I want to leave home, I want to give up everything, I want to join you. Mahaprabhu said, don't be a false renunciant. Be in the home, stay at home, chant Hare Krishna and preach. Yare deko tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Amara agnya ho taro he desh. So stay, chant, and preach, and make everyone devotees. So he gave this very famous instruction to the Kurma Brahmana. And then he met this Vasudeva, Vipra, Vasudeva, the leper Vasudeva. Vasudeva was a leper. He was, having leprosy. But he was such an amazing devotee that any worms in his body falls down, he will take and put it back. And then he was, his heart was like so soft, so very full of compassion. Mahaprabhu was very touched by his mood. So he came all the way to Kurmadesh to liberate Vasudeva. He embraced this leper who has got leprosy. And when this leper was embraced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all his diseases got cured. He got a very effulgent and healthy body. Uh, And when his body got transformed, Vasudeva became very upset. You know why he got upset? He thought, now my body is completely transformed. I am scared that I may become proud. That, I got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means I am so great. This false pride may come in my heart. I am very scared. My dear Lord, you give back this leprosy to me. I am scared of false pride. This is more dangerous. Amazing, huh? He considered leprosy as less dangerous, but false pride as more dangerous. So, how devotees, their mood was pure devotion, uncontaminated, unmotivated, and uninterrupted. That is the mood of a Vaishnava. His goal is very clear. I want pure devotion to Krishna, not anything contaminated. Any contamination is there, he prays to the Lord, please remove those contamination. I don't want any of these things, because many births I have taken, and this is what I have been doing all the lives, trying to satisfy my senses. Enough of it. This life, my goal is very clear, that I only want to perform pure devotion service. So this is what the pure devotee's mentality. And we could see the Vasudeva Vipra, how his mood, that he was begging Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I don't be afflicted by false pride. And then Mahaprabhu blessed him, and he left. So then after that, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited many other places in South India. Like, he went to Srirangam, the very famous Srirangam temple, where he met the Venkata Bhatta, the priest of Srirangam temple, Ranganaji, and his son Gopala Bhatta. 4 months Mahaprabhu stayed, during the rainy season of Chaturmasya in Venkata Bhatta's house. And just by hearing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes association, the younger son of, the son of Venkata Bhatta got so attracted to Mahaprabhu. And then later he became one of the 6 Goswamis, Gopala Bhatta Goswami. So then we could see that the Lord went to Madurai also. He met a devotee person called Ramadas, who always chants only Rama's name, and he was so worried. Oh, Sita Devi has been abducted by Ravana. He was so worried. And then Mahaprabhu, he found in the Kurma Purana that the Sita Devi which Ravana took was not the original Sita. It's a illusory Sita, false Sita. you know the original Sita was protected, and she actually entered into fire. And then she came back. So it is only false Sita that Ravana took. So that evidence was in Kurma Purana, and Mahaprabhu took that and gave it to Ramadas. Then only Ramadas got pacified. Otherwise, he was not eating, he was not sleeping, he was all the time crying. So that very beautiful pastime took place in Madurai, Ramadas. And then Mahaprabhu also traveled to Tirupati, Rameshwaram, Ahobilam. He went to Trivandrum, where he went to the Padmanabha Swami, beautiful Padmanabha Swami temple. He made everyone chant Hare Krishna. Janardana Swami temple. I personally went to the temple. My God, so beautiful. It is like an ocean surrounded, Barkala. It's a place in Kerala. And the Janardana Swami is so beautiful, Krishna, And so Mahaprabhu basically went to all the places and made everyone chant Hare Krishna. So like that, he visited many Rameshwaram also. He visited many places in South India. And then the Lord came to Jagannath Puri. When he came to Jagannath Puri, he stayed in Kashi Mishra's house. King Pratap Rudra Maharaj arranged all the wonderful arrangements for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And also for all his associates who are coming from Bengal, like Bhavananda Roy, Ramananda Roy's whole family members, they are all great devotees, father and all the sons, like Pandavas. Mahaprabhu compared them to Pandavas. And also Govinda, his god brother, who actually became like who took the menial service of being a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all these great personalities, Swarup Damodar Goswami, all of them joined when Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri. And after that, all of them requested, oh, my dear Lord, please, King Prataparudra wants to meet you. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, I will not meet the king. He's a Vishayi, he's a political person. I will not meet a king. A sannyasi is not supposed to meet. But Prataparudra Maharaj was having such a desire, to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But the desire is increasing and increasing, but Mahaprabhu is not ready to see him. So then he gave his outer cloth, as a sign of acceptance. But he did not want to see, but he gave his outer cloth, to Prataparudra Maharaj, and he also saw his son. And then what happened? The Gundicha pastime happened. We know the Rath Yatra, before Rath Yatra, this nice place, in Jagannath Puri, Gundicha is considered to be Vrindavan. So Jagannath, from Jagannath temple, he will come to Gundicha temple. Just like, the Lord from Kurukshetra was pulled to Vrindavan. So we could see here this Gundicha temple, Gundicha Marjanam, that is cleaning of Gundicha temple. Mahaprabhu set a wonderful example. He personally went there. A leader is someone who leads by example. So Mahaprabhu also took the role of a leader. And then he personally went, he cleaned the temple and he made everyone clean. Very beautiful pastime, Gundicha Marjana. So after the cleansing, it is like a cleaning marathon. Now we are in book marathon. That was a cleaning marathon. How to clean our heart, to welcome the Lord in our heart. Vrindavan is not just a place. We want to make our heart Vrindavan, as pure as possible to welcome the Lord. So this is a very beautiful pastime. And after that, Rath Yatra ceremony. And Rath Yatra ceremony, it was so wonderful that there were 7 Kirtan parties Mahaprabhu arranged. And in all the 7 parties, Mahaprabhu expanded himself. But not all of them could see. Only very few devotees who got that special mercy could see. And Prataparudra Maharaj also got that mercy. He saw Mahaprabhu in 7 Kirtan parties simultaneously. You know why? Because he got that mercy because Mahaprabhu was pleased to see King Prataparudra sweeping in front of Jagannath's cart. Because the king normally he sweeps as a servant, the mood of a servant. So Mahaprabhu was very pleased and gave this blessing that he could see Lord Chaitanya in 7 different Kirtan parties. And it was so ecstatic, singing and dancing, so amazing, that Rath Yatra pastime. All the Vaishnavas from Bengal, and it was an amazing, pastime. So then this pastime finished. After that, Mahaprabhu, when the Rath Yatra ended, Mahaprabhu went to, Jagannath Vallabh Gardens to take rest. So there, this Prataparudra Maharaj came as a very simple person, giving up all his royal paraphernalia, and he was massaging the Lord. And he sang this very beautiful song called Gopi Gita. And that Gopi Gita, one very special verse which touched Mahaprabhu so much. And you know what he did? He just embraced Prataparudra Maharaj, not just embraced and started rolling in the ground. He did not even see whom he is embracing. He gave so much of mercy because he got so satisfied and pleased to hear that verse, from Prataparudra Maharaj. And what is that verse? Very famous verse. Tava katamritam tapta jivanam kavi biriditam kalmashapakam shravana mangalam shrimatadadam bhuvi grinantiye bhurida janam. Tava kata amritam, the nectar words, the nectar of your words. Kata amritam, tava kata amritam, and the description of your activities. Tapta jivanam, or the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. Tapta jivanam. Kavi biriditam, the learned sages have given these descriptions. Kavi biriditam kalma shapakam, it will destroy all sinful reactions. Kavi biriditam kalma shapakam shavana mangalam. Shavana mangalam, it gives all good fortune. Srimatadadam, it has a spiritual potency. Bhuvi grinantiye, it is broadcasted all over the world. Bhuri Dajana, those who spread the glories of the Lord are very magnanimous. Bhuvi Grinantiye Bhuri Dajana. They are very, very dear to the Lord. When Mahaprabhu heard that verse, he became so ecstatic. And then he was rolling in the ground with Prataparudra Maharaj. Later he knew it was a king, but he gave all the mercy. That's why Gopi Gita is very, very dear. And during Kartik month, we sing that song. It is the separation of gopis when they could not see Krishna, in the Rasa Leela. So then what happened? Prataparudra Maharaj got blessings, got the mercy. So then now he is in Jagannath Puri, right? So Mahaprabhu was saying, okay, but I want to go to Vrindavan. I'm missing. First attempt failed because Nityananda Prabhu tricked. Second time he's requesting. And how the Lord, he is independent Lord, he can take decision and go. But yet he's asking his devotees, how he is bound by love, how he values his devotees. So after 5 years, the fifth year of sannyas, the devotees are now telling, okay, my dear Lord, you can go to Vrindavan. Fifth year of sannyas. Every year he wanted to go. And fifth year only he got permission from his devotees. And the Lord actually going, starting with Balabhadra Bhattacharya, one of his uh, devotee, he goes. But then what happened when he started, to go to Vrindavan, he could go up to Ramakeli only. And there only he met Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, all these pastimes happened. But then what happened, there was one devotee, Narasimhananda Brahmachari. Mentally, he made a road for Mahaprabhu to go. He made a road filled with, decorated with jewels and beautiful flowers on the side, lakes and water bodies and beautiful birds humming. So in mind only, he made a road for the Lord. And when he made this road is not going to Vrindavan. It is stopping at Kanai Natashala. And he's thinking, and he's trying to put the road, further extend the road, but it's not going. So he told all the devotees, this time Mahaprabhu is not going to go to Vrindavan because I am not able to put the road beyond Kanai Natashala. And you know what happened? Mahaprabhu could not go beyond that, bound by devotees' love. So that is why in the Bhagavad Gita we see Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhakti Upakritam Asnami Priyadatmana. Even a leaf, fruit, flower, water. But what is the main ingredient he's talking about is love and devotion. If that is missing, even the biggest offering is of no great attraction for the Lord. But when even it is mental, mentally someone is offering something, but if that has got the bhava, then the Lord accepts. That's why it's called bhava grahi janardana. Bhava grahi janardana. So we can see how this Narasimhananda Brahmachari, what a great personality. Mentally, he put the road and the Lord following that road, and there he stopped. So second attempt also, the Lord did not go to Vrindavan. So he went to Ramakeli, and then he decided, okay, I'm going to go back. So on his way back, he again dropped in Shantipur for 5 to 6 days, and then came to Jagannath Puri, stayed for a couple of days, and then the Lord decided, now I have to go to Vrindavan again. Final attempt, and he was successful. And he took Balabhadra Bhattacharya, only one Brahmana assistant. And when he was going, he was going through the path of Jharkhand forest. We all know that, which is filled with ferocious animals. On his way through Jharkhand, he is going. And we could see the ferocious lion, tiger, and the ferocious animals are hugging the soft animals and kissing each other, given up all their envy, all their ferocious nature, and they are all in ecstasy dancing. So the Lord gave prema to even to the beast, to the animals. He gave his nama and prema both. The lion and tiger are jumping Haribol. That is why Lochana Das Thakur is singing a very beautiful song. Deko reba yemono doyolo data. He sings, Deko reba tribhuvanena yemono doyolo data. Pashu paki jure pasana vidare suni jara gunagata. Deko ore bhai, oh my dear brothers, please listen. Deko ore bhai Tribhuvane Nai, in the three worlds. Yamana Doyolo Data, there is no one more merciful than Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. What did they do? Pasu Paki Jure Pasana Vidare. Pasu Paki Jure, Pasu, animals. Upon, their merciful, hearing their merciful qualities, their association, the animals are singing his glories. Pasana Vidare, Pasana, stones are melting. What kind of personalities? Who can be more merciful? That the stones are melting and the beast and animals are singing Harinam. So there is no one more. Emono Doyolo Data. There is no one Dayal. There is no one more merciful. Loshan Das Thakur is singing this song. Uh, so then what happened after this? Jarikand, the Lord is going to Varanasi, and then he going to Prayag, he took a bath, and then he enters Vrindavan. Now, after all these things, finally the Lord enters Vrindavan. And we know in Vrindavan how the Lord reciprocates to all the birds, right? Peacocks, parrots, deers, even to the creepers of Vrindavan. We have this very famous song. Dule, dule, gora chan, Hari gun gai. Dule, dule, gora chan, Hari gun gai. So raising his hands in very ecstatically, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is entering Vrindavan, and all these creepers, the birds, they're all in ecstasy, dancing. Hari Guna Gai, they are singing Hari Hari. So that's a beautiful sight when the Lord entered Vrindavan, and all the all the devotees gave a very warm and grand welcome to the Lord. And then the Lord actually visited all the 12 forests of Vrindavan very wonderfully, very happily. He went around seeing all these places. Then after that, the Lord again came back, to Prayag. So in Prayag, he again met Rupa Goswami. That's the time he spoke to him about the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the principles for the book, you know. And then that Dasasva Meda Ghat in Prayag. And then he moved to Varanasi, where he met Sanatana Goswami. And 2 months he gave association to Sanatana Goswami. And from there, whatever association he had, he wrote Hari Bhakti Vilas and, other things. On the Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana, on these aspects, Mahaprabhu spoke to Sanatana Goswami. And he also met Prakashananda Saraswati, a great Mayavadi scholar, and how sannyasi, and he completely transformed. And Prakashananda Saraswati was completely touched by the humility of Mahaprabhu. So all these pastimes happened, in Varanasi, and the entire Varanasi became devotees, because when Prakashananda, the Mayavadi sannyasi, became a devotee, everyone became devotee. And then finally the Lord came back to home, Jagannath Puri. So this is a synopsis of Madhya Lila. So we touched briefly on this various pastimes. So further going, we will touch elaborately on the different pastimes which we touched today. How wonderful it is, isn't it? So Mahaprabhu's pastimes are amazing, very ecstatic. So let us, now it's a marathon, another 2-3 days to go. It is today's 21st, 25th is Gita Yajna. We can understand, we see that all these great personalities, our Kaviraj Goswami, all our Guru Parampara, 6 Goswamis, how much of sacrifice, how much they have, sacrifice, they sleep, eating, sleeping, and all is not at all there. They just completely gave themselves. Paramahamsa Vaishnavas, and how Srila Prabhupada put all those, in a very, very wonderful form and gave it to us. It is like, what is that fruit called? The big fruit? um, what is that called?
Jackfruit, Mataji.
What is that?
Jackfruit, are you
Jackfruit, yes. Jackfruit, very difficult. You would have tried cutting a jackfruit. It is very difficult to take the skin out. It gets, we have that very sticky thing. We have to very carefully remove it. So if someone is taking all those taking out all those things, take that chunks very nicely, and then cut it to nice small pieces, and then after that add honey, and then put it in a nice this thing, offer to Krishna, and put it in a plate coming to you with a spoon. Please eat it. How will you feel? You will grab it, isn't it? Wow, everything easy, just to put it in the. So Srila Prabhupada has done that for us. He has put everything, cut all the, put gloves, and removed all that fussy sticky things, removed everything, put it in a chunks, poured honey, all the things, whatever difficult job he has done, and he's giving us with a plate and spoon. But yet sometimes it's difficult for us to accept that. So if we hear more and more these pastimes of our previous acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, our appreciation grows multifold times. We feel more grateful for what they have given us. And also, we will understand how much great responsibility we have on our shoulders, also, to give this nectar to others. As Mahaprabhu said, Yare deko tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. Amara Agnya hoy, taro he Guru hoy, taro he desh. So that's a message. We got it. So we have few more days. Let's try our best, to reach out to more people, to reach Bhagavad Gita, and make Srila Prabhupada happy, the entire parampara happy. And just making them happy, our life is successful. So thank you very much. I went little over time. I hope it was useful, and we will meet you soon in the next session. Is that okay, or you have any questions? Because already it's 9:15. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Haribol Mataji, thank you so
Haribol.
much.
Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki
Thanks, Mataji, for such a nice
Das
session.
Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.
Such a nice. Thank you very much.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Thank you very
jai.
much.
Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Haribol Mataji.
Haribol
Haribol.
Haribol
Haribol.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Thank you
Haribol.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.